Hey guys, Cody here again. Well, we've probably covered the fact that I quite enjoy martial arts practice. And every so often, I like to go on Amazon and search up a new weapon. Learn a new weapon, learn some new technique. Recently, I ran across a very interesting advertisement, and I purchased this. It was called a Grim Reaper Sword Staff Combo. And the advertisement made it look pretty good. It made it look like an actual martial arts practice piece. When I purchased it, it cost me $180, which I thought was steep, but in the right price range. When I received this item, it was mostly made out of plastic. I was very disappointed, but I thought perhaps they reinforced it inside or something to make it more durable, and it might hold together for non-contact practice. This was not the case. Within 48 hours of owning it, I was spinning it. I went to reverse my spin, and without it ever striking anything, the entire staff folded in half and buried itself in the ground next to my foot, very nearly spearing my foot to the ground. Needless to say, I wasn't pleased by this, so I sent this back to the Medieval Depot with a request for a refund, which they refused, claiming that I had abused their weapon. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Medieval Depot, but I've bought novelty sword-shaped toothpicks at the dollar store that were of higher quality plastic than what you provided in that sword staff. I was disgusted. You do make some half-decent products. The sword staff was terrible, but for martial arts practice purposes, you do make fairly decent sai, like these. These are a fairly good martial arts practice tool. They're solid, they're not going to break, they're not made out of cheap pot metal. The wrapping is actually quite durable. I've used these very heavily. They have not broken, they have not loosened, wrapping hasn't come loose. So they do make some fairly decent products. You got to really be careful what you're buying though, and go through the materials lists because things may not be as advertised. Now, if you're looking for a decent quality sword on Amazon, you're probably better off to go with Chang sword. They make a very, very durable katana for a very reasonable price. I only spent $138 on this katana. This is the bamboo motif katana. It's a layered high carbon steel made by actual swordsmiths, not made by a machine. This weapon is full tang, fully disassemblable. It's actually a cross between a weapon and an art form. It's a beautiful piece. The only drawback I've found to this weapon is that the handle wrap, after some heavy use, began to loosen, and the end cap became a little bit loose. It was a quick, easy fix. I simply untied it, tightened it up a little bit, and retied it. It's holding together perfectly. That is the only thing I have discovered with this weapon that I did not really like. Everything else is perfect. The sabot fits tightly to the blade. The tsuba is in proper order. It doesn't wobble. The pins are all secure. The handle sections are all solid. It's got a good weight to it. It's properly sharp, and it's not easy to damage this steel. I had to laugh at some of the reviews that were done on this sword as well. One man apparently used his to limb a 60-foot maple. As these swords are not made for cutting wood, let alone hardwood, I would say the ability to limb a 60-foot maple tree with a sword like that would indicate that it's a very, very good sword. An excellent addition to any martial artist's collection who wants to practice with a real quality item. It blows the Grim Reaper sword staff right out of the water, and it, like I say, cost me about $40 less. And I don't see any reason to return it. Whereas the sword staff I returned had to pay the shipping on, cost me an additional $34. So instead of being $180, it's now $214, and I was refused a refund at all. So beware the Medieval Depot. Some of their things are of half-decent quality, and some are not. You need to be very selective of what you're going to purchase and for what purpose. I don't recommend that anyone purchase the Grim Reaper sword staff. The sai are okay. They're fairly decent quality. They're solid. They're not easy to break. But for swords, I would go most certainly with Quin Chang sword. Very high quality. Probably the highest quality sword I've ever run across for that price range. And it's sharp. And it has retained its edge, even though it's been practiced with quite a bit.